So welcome to the informational webinar about our Diploma in Social Media for Business course. My name's Mary Thomas. I run Concise Training, and I have been using social media and digital marketing and training in social media and digital marketing since 2009. We both, Di and I, were asked by City and Guilds to create this qualification for them. And we've now developed the resources that we use to teach it. And I like working with businesses to see how they're using social media in practice. And so my other side of my company, Concise Digital, will actually go out and help businesses do this. And I bring a lot of that experience into the training. And I'm going to let Di introduce herself.
Thanks, Mary. Yes, hello everyone. My name is Di Dawson. So I am from Dawson Loan, and I am an assessor and a quality advisor on the programme. We work closely with Mary to deliver and develop the materials as well. And yes, I too like working with a variety of businesses with our learners, but I have been in business for myself for quite a long time. And that's enough about me, I think. I'll pass back to Mary.
Thanks, Di. So obviously we're recording this, so anybody that has shown an interest that can't actually come in at 2 o'clock on a Monday can view the recording at a later date. We use AnyMeeting as part of our training delivery. You've already found the chat area on the left. Please do use that chat area if you have any questions. We'll do our best to answer and respond as we go, but certainly at the end we'll pick up any additional questions. If your sound is suffering, I'd suggest you turn off any background programs, email, social media, Dropbox, etc., to give that internet a chance. So we're going to first of all sort of say what makes us different. As I said, City and Guilds asked us to become involved in the development of this diploma nearly 4 years ago now. City and Guilds is a brand known around the world, and it was the first awarding body to listen to employers' demands for a qualification that recognises the skills and understanding required to use social media well within the marketing of a business. There's no exam at the end of the course. We really don't think it needs to be a memory test. You develop an understanding about topics, and we make the delivery practical and relevant to the real world. So the programme consists of practical tasks or assignments, as we call them, to ensure learners are putting your new learning into practice. All our materials are kept up to date, and we refresh the e-learning materials that we use every 6 months to keep pace with the ever-changing world of social media, and all the webinars are refreshed every time we run them. We offer great support. We'll talk about this more later, but we pride ourselves in giving constructive feedback that's relevant to each individual learner's situation or context. And we have qualified assessors and a quality assurance process that ensures we remain consistent in our delivery and assessment. And we have excellent external quality reports from City and Guilds. So what are we going to cover today? So this is what we're going to try and talk about. So we'll show you details about the programme and an overview of key outcomes. We'll talk about the training and learning element of the programme. We'll cover the portfolio and assessment side and talk about support as well as feedback. And we'll start with an overview of the 3 qualifications, or the 2 qualifications that we offer, and their similarities and differences. Now, as I said, we hope to answer some of the questions you have in mind, but do drop anything into the chat pane, and we'll either reply immediately or make sure we respond during the webinar. And at the end, we'll also ask for and answer questions. And if you prefer not to ask questions in front of the group, or if you're watching the recording, then please do email me or contact me anytime this week, and we can have a chat about the rest qualification for you. So we have 2 main diploma qualifications. We're focusing today on the social media for business, but it's useful for you to be aware of the options and the comparisons. So both options embrace the type of roles that may be carried out by a digital marketeer. The Diploma for Social Media is a 12-month course, and the left side of the slide shows the high-level topics covered within this course. and in later slides we'll describe some of the main outcomes associated with these topics. The Diploma in Digital Marketing is a 15 to 16 month course and includes similar topics, but also includes those shown on the right, such as marketing principles and theories, website creation, using a CMS, such as WordPress, blogging for business, email marketing, and understanding the business environment. It's a broader course with 18 assignments and 3 projects, compared to 12 assignments within the Diploma in Social Media for Business. We'll see more about this later. Both diplomas are delivered as a guided, structured course, and you'll see details about the training in later slides. We do also have an award in Principles of Social Media for Business, and it's a much smaller course looking at the creation of a social media strategy for a business. It's a self-directed learning option with assessment. So Di is going to take you through having a business.
Thanks, Mary. Yes. With regard to needing a business to work with, and that's something that we do stress to our learners, that you do need to have a business to work with. We find this qualification is best linked by the practical implementation of what we're teaching you, both with respect to using the channels, as well as thinking about a target audience and buyer personas and business mission statements and values and so on. However, we do realise that not everybody will be able to use the channels of the business they work in, so we're flexible as possible and propose a number of options. So here are the options. You might want to see if a friend or a charity has a business you could work with during the course. So you're thinking about that particular business. Or you could set up your own ideal business that you would like to set up eventually and use this as an example. And some people do set up a social media consultancy so they can, as they're working through the course, and they could obviously use that focus. Or you could use a combination of the business that you're actually working in to answer some of the questions, such as regarding audience or mission statement or competition, but actually show evidence of using the tools, using perhaps your personal channels. So that's kind of like hopefully helping you to start thinking about, well, that's the business that you're working with. So the course is actually aimed at business owners, ideally. So to answer your question, the aim of the course is to actually make sure that you can get the most out of this. So obviously, if there's any theories, you can then apply them in practice in your own business. However, not everybody has a business, or not everybody works in a business where they have got the opportunities to carry out all of the marketing activities that we cover in the course. So that's why we're happy to look at very different options. Now, in terms of a business, we also encourage you to think about other scenarios. So, of course, as I mentioned just now, we'd like you to examine the business that you're going to be focusing on to answer questions such as competitors and other situations. However, we will also present you a number of scenarios. So in the learning materials, we present to you various scenarios such as Hillary's hairdressing salon, Kevin's sports shop, Desi's events management business, Tim's virtual assistant business, and so on. And in each webinar, we look at Fred's business. Now, Fred is the bottom left photo. He has an organic farm shop in Oxfordshire, and we find out about his business each time we deliver a webinar. And these scenarios, we do find that our learners find them really useful, and because it's actually stretching yourselves beyond the business that you're in. Now we look at the topic of marketing, naturally, and we examine various principles. You'll be shown models to help produce various strategies and documents for the business. And you'll look at the business's marketing plan and carry out a simple marketing audit. And we ask you to talk about the business that you're working with. For example, you're going to be examining the business's aims, the objectives, and values. And any marketing, whether that's traditional or digital, needs to be worthwhile. So we look at measurement to determine the return on investment and consider actions to take. Later, you'll be producing a social media guidelines for staff in the business. And we do present these models and theories, but don't worry if you're not particularly keen on them. We like to give templates and examples and plenty of opportunity to explain in as many ways as possible. Now, we often use the term digital marketing, as it is the promotion of products or brands via one or more forms of electronic media. Social media is just one such electronic media, albeit a very important one, and that's a key focus of the course. So we ask you to look at the main channels, the Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube, and you'll explore other tools and channels such as Pinterest, Instagram, and social bookmarking sites. You're going to set up or review what you use, and you see how that relates to your digital marketing strategy. We see how to determine what works best for your business. So the course is ideal for anybody using social media already, but would certainly like to know more. We consider social media optimization, and that's the practice of enhancing and improving your social media profiles so that people can find your business, but it also allows or encourages engagement with your audience. So you're going to be finding out also about content marketing, and you'll create a range of content such as blog posts, social media updates, graphics, and video. And of course, the content's got to be optimized so readers and viewers can find the content, because we consider it's pointless having content if nobody can find it. So we're going to ask you to look at creating a content schedule to help you manage the creation of content and schedule it to various channels. And we look at the ways to make the best out of your content you've produced so you can amplify the message to reach a wider audience. And we look at relationship marketing and examine how to develop the relationships with customers, suppliers, influencers, stakeholders, so they know about the business and what value it provides. And I'll just pause at this moment to see if there's any questions. Yes, if you have a experience in social media in a professional context, then this course is ideal if you do have some experience, and that would have appeared on a much later slide as a summary. But if you do have some experience, but really want to expand on that and get some underpinning theories about why you're using what you're using, how you know it's successful. But certainly this is going to help fill a significant number of gaps. And if you are in a marketing role naturally, then of course this is going to help. So that's what we find from a lot of our learners. It really does help, kind of like solidify what they might know already. So I've just talked about content, and we do have some creative topics, which is to produce a digital advertising campaign to a target audience. And this topic draws on theories and principles to make sure you reach a target audience. So we ask you to think about what you've experienced in terms of campaigns on the web and on mobile. And you'll look at a range of types of campaigns, and you're going to plan and create a campaign for a scenario. The reason why we use a scenario is you don't have to actually publish it, and not everybody's in a position where they can run a campaign for the business at that moment in time. But of course, if you wish to run a campaign for your business, then we're happy for you to do so, and you can gather evidence that way. Now, for the couple of slides I've talked to, you'll see that there is an orange box and a purple box. And the orange box is indicating the City and Guilds description of their unit, and the purple box is relating to the e-learning materials that we provide relevant to the different topics. Now, of course, what we do is, you'll be wanting to keep an eye on who's reading your content that you're sharing, and you want to know what people are saying about your brand. And we'll ask you to consider what it means to manage your reputation online, and you're going to examine legal issues, especially regarding the production of content. We talk about digital risks, and this is something that all businesses need to be aware of. So there is a task to carry out a risk analysis, and you'll produce a crisis management plan. So that's quite an interesting topic. Now, an important one, we look at search engine optimization. And search engine optimization is the art of enabling your website and content to be found in search. Quite fundamental. So you're going to be looking at some analytics to check if your website is attracting visitors, where they go, what do they do, how long do they stay, and so on. And it's an absolutely essential task for business. So we ask you to carry out an SEO review for your business. So you can see that measurement and analytics are topics, and these are essential to know, if all of your digital marketing activities are successful. You want to know what's worked well and what hasn't worked very well. Another topic is mobile marketing, and you're going to be exploring this topic to see what's available, what technology can offer, the limitations perhaps. And although you're not producing a mobile app, you'll examine how location-aware apps can be used for business. And you consider your website and think about it for mobile consumers. And that's quite often a really eye-opener for our learners to start looking at websites in terms of a mobile consumer. Another creative topic is image creation. Statistics suggest that images are shared multiple times greater than content without. So we stress the need for a social media marketer to understand how images can be used, social media updates, blog content, website, and in digital advertising campaigns. So you're going to be producing images. And these will be for your profiles, your updates, the website, and campaigns, and so on. And you're demonstrating the skills that you have in image editing software. You'll also be asked to plan and create a blog or a video for the business. So you decide which content is going to work best for the business. Now, alongside these topics, you're going to be looking at some principles of marketing to help learners work closely with colleagues to form strategies. So, for example, there's an ongoing task that's the creation of a social media strategy for your business. Now, you might not have colleagues, you might be working on in your own business as a sole trader, but you'll still be looking at the social media strategy for your business and how social media fits into your marketing plan. So we provide a template that you complete at various points in the program. Of course, there's going to be other roles that a digital marketer has, but we've touched on a few that are relevant to this course. And there's quite a lot of content to deliver. And one of the things that you're going to be receiving is Mary's book, Social Media Made Simple, and that can help you. Again, it's useful for keeping notes. It's not an essential part of the course evidence, but it's for you that you can work through at your convenience. Now, as I mentioned, there's going to be quite a lot of topics to cover over a 12-month period, and we hope that you've already got some knowledge and confidence in some of these topics already. But we also do hope that you've got some gaps to fill too. So I'm going to pause and see if you've got any questions before I hand over to Mary. So are there any questions about the different topics? I'm happy to revisit and talk about any of those topics so far. And if there's no questions, just let us know. I'm not too sure if the text chat pane is a little bit slow. So if you can let us know if you've got any questions, and I'll hand over to Mary. So Mary, you're going to be looking at how the training is delivered.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Di. Let's have a look at how you're going to learn. There are 12 webinars at scheduled dates, usually one a month, and we'll be using AnyMeeting for the webinars, just as we're doing now. The AnyMeeting does have a mobile app if you need to access on an iPad or a tablet, just for your information. Purpose of the webinars is a chance to receive live input, to hear fresh material, up-to-date news about topics, and we provide tips and advice before you start each assignment. The aim is to make sure you're well prepared to start assignments. The webinars are held on the same time each date on the schedule. So all our webinars will be held at 2 o'clock British time, BST. Attendance is mandatory, either live attendance or viewing of the recording, and the recording links are going to be shared after each webinars. There are 15 e-learning courses available to you. We suggest these total over 150 hours of learning. This amount sounds a lot, but during each month you'll be setting aside approximately 10 hours of study for the e-learning courses, and at each webinar we tell you which one you're going to work through. So we're going to start with social media strategy for business. That's the first e-learning course you do. You're going to have access to the e-learning courses for 3 months after the course completion, which is, people actually love that because they love to go back through the courses, and the materials are updated every 6 months. So potentially you're going to have at least 2 updates, if not 3, during that time. And we also create a monthly update document to tell you all about the different changes in social media and digital marketing, and we share with all learners, so you have the very latest news about social media channels at your fingertips. And some months those e-learning, those monthly update documents are huge. This one is going to be very big this month. There's been lots of changes in Facebook. So we're now going to have a look inside the Twitter for Business course, so you can see what the e-learning courses look like. Here you're met with 3 objects, and you need to click onto the circle to open the object, which will open up in a new tab. Navigation is straightforward. There's a menu to access any slide, or you can use the next and previous buttons at the bottom right. Another feature is you can search for keywords in the materials, which is at the bottom of the menu option, which learners find particularly useful when they go back through these courses, because quite often, although they'll go through Twitter quite early on, you'll often want to go back to it as you go through. We have slides that contain text, images, sound files, videos, resources and templates to download, and many activities and exercises to reinforce your learning. This particular slide shows a scenario with a chance for you to note down your ideas before clicking onto a suggested answer. The exercises are for your learning. They don't form part of the assessment. And we have a tendency to focus on small to medium businesses throughout our scenarios, and we try to make them as real life as possible so you can actually relate to what we're saying. Many slides are multimedia, including sound files and video. The modules are suitable to access on iPad and other tablets, and in theory on a phone, but it could be quite difficult to see on a small screen. Many of the videos are instructional how-to videos with me or one of my team giving instructions as we show you what to do. And many people like to watch the video on one tab or perhaps on an iPad and follow along in another tab as you go through the video. And Di's going to talk about the assessment. Do let us know if you've got any questions, Sojo.
Thanks, Mary. Yes, assessment and feedback. And there's going to be 12 assignments throughout the course, and they are submitted on each webinar date. So we release them, and then the next webinar date is when they are due in. And we do provide a little schedule so that everybody knows exactly what dates they have to be working to. And we also provide a portfolio so that you can upload evidence easier. And it's the same place to receive feedback. We have an online classroom area. It's called a Diploma virtual classroom. It's a place to go and download the assignments. These are documents that you complete with short answers. You might have some lengthier comments. You might need to complete a table, respond to a scenario. You might need to give us links to research sites. You certainly would be giving us some screen prints and so on. And we might ask you to upload other files, such as voice recordings, as an alternative to writing. You might be producing a slideshow. You'll certainly be producing image files. And the questions are designed to draw out the full understanding of the topic so you can demonstrate your knowledge and skills to us. And when we ask for answers, we may ask for a list, but actually predominantly we need a full explanation, analysis, comparison and opinion. And we do expect a standard of English expression and a quality of work. But of course, if a question doesn't make sense, we're available to rephrase or explain. You are also asked to carry out a bit of research, mostly online, but some might involve talking to people in the business. And of course, as you progress, we ask you to carry out practical tasks, which show us that you're putting the theory into practice. Now, feedback to the assignments is given inside the portfolio, usually within 2 to 3 working days. And we do give quite detailed feedback, so it's definitely clear how well you're progressing. And how much time do you need to spend each week? Well, it is a bit of a tricky question because it does depend on your starting point. However, you have to have enough time to absorb the new information that we're giving you, to carry out the learning through the e-learning. And you also need time to make sure that you're going to show us evidence against the City and Guilds criteria. So you need time to plan, to attend the webinars. Our webinars are usually 2 to 3 weeks apart. They usually last about an hour. We try not to go over the hour so that you can plan accordingly. But if you can't attend the live, then it's time to view the recording. And you need time to access the e-learning. We normally give an indication of how many hours per module it will take, but on average, you could take about 8 hours. Some are larger, some are smaller. And of course, we don't suggest that you work solidly through the entire e-learning materials in one go. It's far better to split it up and, sort of like into bite-sized chunks. And you need time to read and follow up some of the links or do research and to do the practical tasks. Now, social media marketing means using social media for the business, and this takes time every day. So what we will be doing will be observing you on social media to confirm you're putting the learning into practice. So we ask you to invite us to follow you on the channels that you want us to see what you're doing. Of course, you need to have time to do the assignment writing, to write, proofread, check and upload. And if you have to resubmit, of course, that might take a little bit of time as well. And we try and touch base with you on a regular basis, so it's time by email or Skype or telephone call. So you probably guessed time management is quite key. We suggest that you put aside 10 hours a week for all of these type of activities. Might be more, it might be less, depending on your skills, depending on the gaps. And if time management isn't a strength of yours, you definitely need to ask for our help so that we can give you some support. Now, we do recommend that this time is spread. So spending time each day is going to be much more beneficial than putting it all into one day. Of course, it does depend on your time constraints throughout the week. Now, if you haven't experienced an online course before, you might need some support from us to help keep you motivated and on task. And that's fine, we expect that. So we aim to give you constructive feedback throughout, so you clearly know how well you're progressing, but we also ask you of how best we can support you, whether that's by telephone, by email, by WhatsApp, by FaceTime, whatever. And this program does move at a fairly fast pace, so you might feel a little bit overwhelmed occasionally, or you might feel as though you're slipping behind. But we just ask that you drop an email or call us as soon as possible. And there's always likely to be alternative ways to produce evidence, and that might make it much more manageable for you. So you can see on the slide, we've got a variety of different ways that we can support you. And it's unlimited support, as much as you want or need during the 12-month period. So I'll hand back to Mary for the last couple of slides, which is about the benefits of doing the course.
So if you have any questions about anything that Di's covered, the training, the assessment, do let us know, either now or after when you've watched the webinar again. So the benefits of doing it with us, the flexibility of learning when you want, so you can learn online. Some of our learners access the e-learning materials at 2 a.m, but that is definitely not a requirement. We give detailed, personal and constructive feedback. Many questions we ask are about your business, so therefore the response from us has to be relevant to your business. I do quite a lot of social media for clients. I've written books, publications, I deliver at conferences and events, and I've shared my knowledge and skills in the e-learning materials and in the webinars. And Di strengths in web editing, mobile technologies, video and image editing. And you'll see a great deal of us in the e-learning materials. We share many templates and useful documents, including the basis of a social media strategy and a social media policy. And it's an ideal opportunity for you to really expand your practical skills using a range of social media channels. The course also aims to give you theories and principles so you'll know why you're doing what you're doing, as well as how. And the support we give is significant. I would often have conversations with people as I'm walking my dog, in the evenings. I know Di talks to lots of people in the evenings. We can use any method. We use WhatsApp, we use Skype, we use email, we use mobile phone, whatever method works for you. I know I text with some of my learners. So we want to give you support not only in your assignments and through the course, but also in working with whatever business it is that you're working with. You'll also hopefully continue to be connected with us beyond the course, and you'll have access to the materials for 3 months after the end of the course as well. Diploma in Social Media for Business is a recognised City and Guilds accredited qualification, so you can add it to your CV, showcase your experience, and we've had many learners complete the course and go on to to find jobs immediately if that's what they want to do, or set up as freelancers and work for themselves and find clients. And we've got a number of stories of learners that have done that. So the cost of the course is there. Obviously, if you're outside Europe, you don't need to pay the VAT, but the fee will vary according to the geographical location. So for any webinar viewers coming via the Advantage Caribbean Institute, please contact them for further information. So what's next? So for our UK webinar viewers and anybody who's registered with me, I will be sending a registration form after this webinar, along with a link to the recording. Do contact me if you have any questions. We do have limited places simply because we like a manageable group size for working together online, and we do have people that have already signed up for this intake. So we start on the 8th of May at 2 o'clock, which is 9 o'clock in Barbados, and when we take you through in greater detail how we assess and give feedback, how we use the portfolio, and you'll be starting some induction course tasks as well as an e-learning module. So we hope to see you on the qualification. We hope that sparked your interest. As I said, any questions, contact me at mary@concisetraining.net or call me on 07799 634 835. So I'm going to stop the recording there, but I will be here to answer any questions.